Hey sports fans, welcome to the SFL Today 2018 version. We're here today because last spring down at the Cape, Dale Sylvia said to Brian, hey, I miss the SFL Today. And I'm sure most of you miss it as well. So Dale said, how about if I give you guys some questions to answer in the SFL Today? Without having looked at them before, without having rehearsed, this is totally off the cuff. So Dale, thank you for offering these questions. I'm going to have Commish II here ask the questions and we'll react to them.
Okay, question number one is a college question. I'm going to bring it up for the first time. It says, is Ohio State versus Penn State really a preview of the Big Ten East Championship?
Commish II, when Dale had posed these questions, the games hadn't taken place and now we know they have. However, both of those teams played very well. It was a very even game. As a matter of fact, Penn State outplayed Ohio State in that game, and we're fortunate that Ohio State was fortunate to win it. So I think that's a fair assessment that it could be the Big Ten East Championship game. What do you think?
I agree, but I just want to go. I'm going to answer the question as if we hadn't known it. Both Commish III and myself felt that actually that Ohio State was far superior to Penn State. We were proven wrong, but Commish III picked Ohio State, as did I, and he made Ohio State his lock. So in that so we were both very surprised that Penn State was as good as they were.
Okay, next question. We got a lot of questions to go here.
Number two, athletes now have votes for NCAA autonomy, and in some conferences, such as the Pac-12. Should SEC athletes get to vote in the conference on SEC issues?
Why don't you answer that first? I'm not sure I understand the question.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. I don't know what this issue is. Voting for autonomy and students get to vote on SEC issues. That's a new one on me. We may have to have another show now.
Yeah.
That's the disadvantage of not seeing the questions ahead of time.
We'll get back to you on that one, kind of an answer.
Okay. Is the NCAA preparing athletes for the NFL?
Absolutely, no question about it. There's a lot of faux scholarship issues that are brought up that they say, oh, it's all about the student athlete. Well, I think it's more the athlete comes first. It's the athlete, and the university is just a means for getting to the NFL. That's my...
Yeah, it's definitely an NFL minor leagues like in baseball, and the rest of it's a sham. I thought the question when I started reading it was going to be, is the NSSL preparing athletes for life? And I'm not sure about that. And if the life would be just to take advantage of other people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's only like 2 or 3% of the college athletes ever make it to the NFL as it is. So it's kind of a ridiculous thing. But
actually, I want to say to Dale, good questions, and actually we could spend a lot more time on them because I had a whole thing. I saw the head coach of Stanford criticize these quarterbacks that don't get to start, that went to that school. They have a battle, and he said, well, you should just keep battling and win that position rather than quit and leave. But you're preparing them for the NFL. You only have so much time to showcase yourself. So talking out of both sides of their mouth there. Okay, should college athletes be allowed to make money?
I think yes. I think that they should get more than just tuition. They should get enough money that they can, have all the spending money that they need to get through college and so on. I think as far as making it a job, it would be difficult to know how much money they should be paid because some of these athletes, they bring into the college so much money. To compensate them fairly is a difficult question. I'm not sure I would have a good formula for doing that.
Yeah, it's a complicated question. Another good one, by the way. But I'm going to touch on some of the edges of it. First of all, the whole thing of Bush losing, or some of the other athletes losing their scholarships or being suspended for selling jerseys or something like that, or taking some money from alumni. This is they set up this system which is basically setting up the athletes to be the bad guys in all these weird payola things, and the whole system set up. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, college football, with basically free labor, except for the scholarships, quote unquote. And where's the education going there? Because if you look at these guys' schedules, they're full-time football players, essentially.
Right.
Okay, good question.
These are excellent questions.
Who was worse for Notre Dame, Brian Kelly or Charlie Weiss?
Well, there's no question Charlie Weiss. Charlie Weiss, without a doubt, was one of the worst football coaches I've ever seen coach a college team. He was a perfect example of the Peter principle, someone who rose to the level of his incompetence. And he went from Notre Dame to Kansas, and now he's just a nimnom on the radio stations or TV stations in Boston. Total loser as far as I'm concerned. Brian Kelly brings this year. I mean, he's had Notre Dame in the big top 10 for a number of seasons. So he's more the real deal. He has his flaws, but nowhere near what Charlie Weiss was.
Yeah, I think Commish III did a good job talking about Charlie Weiss. I think the question kind of implies that Brian Kelly's been a disappointment, and to me he has been. I know our oldest brother Mark, graduate of Notre Dame, has been up and down on Brian Kelly. But I'll tell you, that game yesterday, it's kind of funny that we have seen that game. Because that was a dominant Notre Dame. Commish III said it was probably the best Notre Dame performance he's seen in the modern era. I mean,
since Lou Holtz, I think.
Yeah, I mean that was a strong all three phases of the game, as Bill Belichick likes to say.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to suggest. Let me see. The next NFL questions. Let's call this the college edition and end this version.
All right.
We'll do another one.
All right.
But these are great. Good idea, Dale. See you all.
All right. Take care. Enjoy the games.